Hey, it's Nick. We're talking about plantar fasciitis today. So super frustrating, annoying injury. Essentially, it's the inflammation of the fascia on the bottom of your foot. So you have fascia, which is connective tissue similar to a ligament or a tendon. You have fascia all throughout your body, and at the bottom of your foot, you have your plantar fascia. And when that gets inflamed and irritated, it is what's called plantar fasciitis. It can be very painful. It can be very chronic, and for a lot of people, a lot of tennis players, a lot of athletes, even just general population. So today we'll talk about quick anatomy, what it is and sort of how it works. And then I'll give you a couple of experiments to try to see if that can maybe change the pain signals. The first thing I'm gonna say is that the most important question you wanna ask yourself is, are you doing more activities? Are you playing more tennis? Are you doing more sports than normal? Because a lot of times if you just do too much too soon and you've maybe been sedentary or you haven't been that active, that can just be too much for those tissues on the bottom of your foot, and they get overloaded, they get pissed off, and they create pain. So that's a good first question to ask yourselves. Or if you're doing the normal kind of activities that you've been doing and it's just been a chronic sort of issue for you, then I think these two assessments that we're gonna go over right now will be more helpful. But just kind of check in with yourself if you've been doing too much or more than normal, because that's a really important indicator that it just might be, sort of short-term overload. So the two things we'll look at, let me angle this down real quick. So first, quick anatomy bit, right? The fascia, plantar fascia connects at the heel, starts at the heel, and it goes all the way up and it splays out through the 5 toes. So understanding that is really important, because for most people who wear, normal sort of unnatural shoes where there's a narrow toe box, you'll see people's toes are totally squished in like that, right? And what we want, ideally, we can do this quick test, you can do this right now, is I want you to try to splay your toes out, and I want you to try to lift as wide as you can and see if you can get some good toe splay. So mine's not great, it's not terrible. What we're really trying to avoid is this position with our toes, because what this does is it basically turns off all this musculature in here, and it just adds more stress to that plantar fascia. So the other test I want you to look at is look at your arch. If you have a really flat foot or a collapsed arch, I tend to have more of a high arch, more of a supinated foot. But if you have a flat arch, basically that's just weakness in a lot of these intrinsic foot muscles. And again, what that's gonna do is gonna put more stress into that plantar fascia. So on a really high level, plantar fasciitis is just that tissue getting overloaded because other parts of your foot, your ankle, your hip just aren't doing their jobs, right? And that tissue is getting overloaded, it's getting irritated, and it's creating pain. So looking at the toe shape, foot shape, and toe splay, and then looking at your foot shape of the arch, really, really important. And then last thing we'll do is we'll do a quick plantar reset, because sometimes using a ball, lacrosse ball, tennis ball, I have a cork ball here as well. Sometimes just getting into that tissue, using a little pressure with the ball can help sort of reset some of that tissues and maybe change the pain signal that you're having. So the easiest way to do this is to use the ball, stand up, and just hunt around. I'm gonna angle down again. We're just gonna stand up, and we're just gonna basically hunt around for areas of tension. Everything, the bottom of the foot, you can go forward and back, you can go side to side. And the idea there is to spend, I would say, between, let's say, 30 to 60 seconds each foot. After you do that, get up, stand up, maybe walk around and see if there's any difference. Because a lot of times, just that contact with some of that fascia might loosen up some of that tissue and might help with your pain sensation. This is a really good sort of daily drill that I do just to maintain foot health, even when I'm not having foot pain. So if you're someone who doesn't have plantar fasciitis, this is kind of like, brushing your teeth, flossing your teeth for your joints, for your fascia, for your basically tissue health. So really, really cool little experiment to try. Try 30 to 60 seconds, and then keep me posted on and let me know how it goes. So plantar fasciitis, super frustrating. There's only so much I can talk about in a 5-minute video. We can talk more in later videos, but take a look at your toes. Can you splay? Take a look at your arch. What's the shape of your arch? And then do some of that plantar reset, and we'll talk more in later videos. All right, so I hope that's helpful. and we'll talk soon.